to Vibe Tut once again. Today we'll be looking at VLOOKUP and how we can use the VLOOKUP function in Excel to perform our daily activities. So without wasting much time, we are going to look at the overview of today's tutorial. So today what we are going to be learning is we are going to look at the definition and the uses of VLOOKUP. Then we will learn how to write a VLOOKUP formula. Then we will look at the two main causes of errors when you are using VLOOKUP. Then we will try and create relationship between tables and then lookup tables and then other tables. So without wasting much time, let's get right into it. So the first thing we are going to look at is the definition of VLOOKUP. So I have a definition here. VLOOKUP stands for vertical lookup. It's a function that makes Excel search for a certain value in a column, that's the so-called table array, in order to return a value from a different column in the same row. So if you look at this image right here, the first thing that the VLOOKUP does is to scan down. So it scans vertically to look for an item. And when it finds that item, it looks across the row and look for another item specified in the formula. So when it finds it, then it returns that value there. So the VLOOKUP will always look to the right. So if you are looking at this, the VLOOKUP will look across to the right of the item that it is finding. So that is basically the explanation of what VLOOKUP is. So let's get right into looking at the uses of VLOOKUP. Now we can use VLOOKUP to create a relationship between data and lookup tables. So you have lookup tables here, and you have your database. So you can connect the lookup tables with the database right here. You can also use the VLOOKUP to search database. So you have a database of products or employees or any other thing. Then depending on what you want, you can actually use the VLOOKUP to look for specific information. Let's say you want the price of an item, you can just enter the item code, the price will come up. You want an employee name, you can just enter the employee ID, then any other information about the employee will come up. Then you can also use the VLOOKUP to do simple lookup, like you can use it to calculate tax and commission rates. So instead of using the if statement, you can use the simple VLOOKUP to find whatever you want to do. So we use VLOOKUP when you need to find things in a table or arrange by row. For example, look up a price of an automotive part by the part number. Find an employee name based on their employee ID. Like I said, you can just enter the employee ID, then the name of the employee will come up. So basically, these are some of the few uses of VLOOKUP. Now let's get into writing our VLOOKUP formula. Let's write our VLOOKUP formula. Now I have this image here to give you the overview, or maybe this is the syntax of the VLOOKUP formula, and this is the simple definition. Now for the first time, if you are writing a VLOOKUP formula, it can be clumsy and then things can get confusing. So the one thing that I'm going to do to help you understand what the formula requires is, now we want to find, we have this table here, and we want to find, the question is, what is the selling price of cowbell gold? So this is the cowbell gold, and this is the cost price, this is the selling price. But we want to return the selling price of the cowbell gold in this cell right here. So we always start our formula with equal to, and the name of this formula is VLOOKUP. Now I'm going to use the tab to insert the formula like this. Now looking at this requirement of the formula here, for the first time, if you are writing a VLOOKUP formula, this thing can be confusing. So what I'm going to do is we are going to use the insert function at the top here. So you double click to insert the function, then you will see this table. Now this is kind of a clear way to do whatever you want to do. Now the first argument is what? The lookup value. Now you can see the description of the lookup value here. Is the value to be found in the first column of the table and can be a value, a reference, or a text string. So this thing to highlight is what? The value to be found in the first column. So this table here, what is the first column? This is the first column, and the value that will be found should be here. But then we are looking at the lookup value. Now what are we looking for? Where do you want our lookup value to be? So this is our lookup value. This is what we are looking for, cowboy gold. We are looking for cowboy gold in this column. So you click on this cell right here. Now you can see the name is there. Then you go to the next argument. So you have the table array. The table array is a table of text, numbers, or logical values in which data is retrieved. So the table array is everything you are seeing in the table here. This is a table array. So you just highlight everything like this. Okay, you just highlight everything like this. Then you can see everything will be there. Now I've selected the headings. So the heading is also part, but I don't want to include the heading. So let me just delete it and then select only the data like this. Then go to the next one. Go to the next one. Now I say the column index is the column number in table array from which the matching value should be returned. So where is the value, the selling price that we want? Which column is it? So we have column 1, column 2, and column 3. Now mind you, bear in mind that the columns are not talking about this or this column, not the column of the sheet, but the column of the table right here. So if this table were to be starting from here, you still have column 1, column 2. If this table starting from here, this will be column 1, column 2, and like that. So it's not about the column of the sheet, but the column of the table. So you have column 1, column 2, and then column 3. Now the column index is what? Column 3. So you just type number 3 and go to the next one. Then you say range lookup. This is the logic. Do you want an exact match or you want an approximate match? If you want an exact match, you can either type false or 0. So I always like the 0, so I'll go to the 0. So you see that false is there. Now when you are done with this, you realize that the formula result will be showing right here. So you can see that the cowboy gold here, this is the selling price, so it's showing right here. Now the reason why there's space between them is because the Ghana cedi is a formatting item, so it's creating a space between them. So that's the reason. So you are done, you just click OK, then your value will come here like this. So that is how we write our VLOOKUP formula. Now let's go straight to look at. We will be writing more of the formula as we continue, and I'll be showing you some more interesting things that you can use the VLOOKUP formula for. So make sure you stay tuned and then watch to the end. But before we continue, if you have not downloaded the practice file yet, you can pause the video and download the file and make sure you are where we are. So you can just pause the video and then catch up with us as we continue. So welcome back. Let's look at how to find or identify errors in VLOOKUP and look at the major causes of VLOOKUP and then how you can actually solve them. Now we have learned how to type our VLOOKUP formula. We are going, the question right here is how much will this order cost? So you want to look at the cost price of these items and find their total here. Now the simple way to write our V formula I've shown you in our previous sheet, so I'll just go straight and type my VLOOKUP formula. VLOOKUP. I'm using the tab to insert. Now where is my lookup value? This is my lookup value right here, comma. So you bring comma. My table array. This is my table array. And you bring comma. Column index. The cost price is column 2. So 2 comma. I want exact match, so I'll go for 0. Close the parenthesis and then hit enter. I have my cost price right here. Now you will see that the sign for the cost price is different from the one here. That is because the price over there, the symbol here is just a formatting item. So I can just format this cell right here by going to the home tab and then going to the accounting. So I'll go for accounting style and I'll click this. Now you see that what the Ghana cedi is there. So that is just by the way. Now I don't want to type the formula for all of this. I want to autofill. So you go here and then double click and then you autofill your formula there. Now you realize that there are some errors in there. It says not available. These are the errors. Now how do we fix those errors? Now I will double click in this cell to expose the formula. Now if this is my lookup value, it's right there. This is my table array. This table array, you can see is having red. So if you come here, the table array is the one with the red border line here. Now you see that the lookup value here, cowboy banana, is now outside the table array. That is why the error is appearing. It's outside the table array. That's why the error is appearing. So how do we fix that error? That error is happening because we have autofilled the formula. Now when we come here, this is A17 for this column, for this row. But here the formula here, the first formula that we selected is what? A16. Now because we autofill the formula, the A16 will jump to what? A17. The next one will also jump to A18, A19, like that. And then the same thing is happening to what? The table array. This is A what? A4, starting from A4 to C10. Now because we autofill the formula, it is also jumping from A5 to C11. So it jumped down one row. So how do we fix that? That is what we are going to look at. Now the way to fix that is to come to the come to this cell right here, double click, then select your table array. After selecting your table, you can select it from here as well. After selecting the table array, you press F4. Now if you press the F4, you will realize that a dollar sign has been introduced. So that dollar sign will anchor the table array to be fixed so that it will move when we autofill our formula. But the rest, this one can move, but this will not move. So let's try and do that. Now let me autofill that. Sorry, let me just autofill. Now you realize that what the table array is no more changing, it's fixed. So that's what we call the absolute referencing, absolute cell referencing. So that is how you can actually fix your table array. Now you realize that we have another error here. Even though the table array is fixed, we have another error here. Now this error is caused because the lookup value here is not in the table array. Cowboy strawberry milk is not in the table array. So the only thing we can do is to just make sure we put in a lookup value that is in the table array. So what I'm going to do is I'll just copy it. So Control C to copy. Then I come here, Control V to paste. I'll fix that error. Now there is another error right here. So you can actually press the space bar to clear that selection. Then there is another error here. Now Cowboy mocha milk, and you also have cowboy mocha milk. So why is the error coming? Now if I should double click in this cell, you realize that there is a space. There is a space after the milk, but if I should double click here, there is no space. You can see that where the cursor is blinking, but here there is a space. So that space is causing Excel to detect that no, this thing is not here. But if I should delete this space right here, the error will be fixed. Now let's say I have the space here, and this place too, I have the space. The error will also be fixed. So that is the major causes of error in what? VLOOKUP. So you make sure whatever you are putting in your lookup value should be exact in the what? The table array, the first column in the table array. Now we are going to be looking at how you can fix these things more. I'll be teaching you more tips to fix them so that you're not suffer while you are using your VLOOKUP. So if you are following, you can just pause the video and then make sure you catch up. Then we continue and look at relationship. Now welcome back. We are going to look at how to create relationship using VLOOKUP. Now I have this relationship table, and then I have a lookup tables right here. So we are going to be connecting the things here with the data in the relationship sheet. Now the first thing we want to do is the customer name. Now we have customer ID, and we want to just enter the customer ID, then the names of the customers will come up like that. So what we need to do is what? Type our formula VLOOKUP. I'm using the tab to insert. Now what is my lookup value? This is my lookup value. We bring comma. What is my table array? My table array. I'll come here. This is my table array. So I'll just go back here like this, and then bring my comma. That way. Then my column index. My column index in this table, where is the customer name that I want? Is what? This is column 1, this is column 2. I'll just type 2. Now do I want an exact match? Yes, so I'll bring comma and then 0. Now you realize that the table array here is not absolute, so I can just highlight it and press my F4 like we did, so that it will be what? Absolute reference. Press my F4 that way. Then I will close the parenthesis and hit enter. So the name will come here, so that when I autofill, because the table array is what? Absolute reference, error will not occur. So I'll just autofill by double clicking the fill icon here, so all the customers' name will populate right there. Now let's move to the next one. Now we have the product name and we have category. Now you want a situation where after entering our product name, our product category should come. So the product names are already here. We want to return their respective category. So we type our formula V equal to V lookup. What is my lookup value? Is the what? The product name, comma. What is my table array? My table array is here. This is my table array, so I'll just highlight it. Now we need to make the table array what? Absolute reference by clicking what? F4. Then comma. What is my column index? My column index, what is it? So you can go back to the table, lookup table, and look at the column index. So this is column 1, this is column 2. So what we are looking for is actually on column 2. I'm going to delete this. It's actually on column 2. Now you see the relationship is still coming. It shouldn't be there, so we just have to delete it. So comma, then 2, comma, we want exact match, so 0, and then you close your parenthesis and hit enter. Now if you autofill by double clicking that fill column, everything will go down as expected. Now if you have this table filter turned on, you can actually check if there is an error. Let's say you have a large database, you can check if there is an error by clicking here. Then you scroll down to see if there is an error. So we have error here, so you can actually clear everything and then go and filter the data, the table with the error to look at where the error is. So you have meaning what this error is occurring because there is nothing here. There is nothing here. We've learned how to fix that, so I will not go into that detail. So I'll just leave it. Now let's move to the next one. We have what? Reps reading. So we have a table of salesperson and their reading. So in the lookup table, we have this is the information about the salesperson and their reading. So we want to look at their reading. As we enter the salesperson, we want to look up for the reading. So we have column 1, column 2, column 3, 4, 5, and then 6. Keep that in mind as we write our formula. So we have VLOOKUP. I'm using the tab to insert. What is my lookup value? The salesperson, comma, my table array. This is my table array. Now you will see that we have 6 columns here, and we are looking for the 6th column to be our column index. But before that, let's make our table array absolute by clicking on F4. Now comma, what is our column index? Is 2. Do you want exact match? Yes, so we go for 0, close our parenthesis and hit enter. Then the salesperson's region will open. So let's autofill. There you go, like that. Now let's look at a very dynamic way to use the VLOOKUP, and with this you will not be encountering any problem. Let's say I have this data of products, and then on my relationship table I have this table here, and I want to populate the table with the products and then the selling price, and I want the amount to be calculated and the total to be here. So what you can do is what we have product ID. I just want to enter the product ID, then everything I want here will come, but the quantity I have to enter it. So I will enter 5, 2, 6, and then 9, and then 3. Then I will enter the formula for calculating the amount here. So I'll go to equal to this cell multiplied by this cell, and I'll hit enter. Now it's giving me 0. I will actually autofill to this place, but over here I want the total of all of this, so I'll just go to equal to sum, and I'll highlight everything and then close my parenthesis and hit enter. It will also give me 0 because there is nothing in here. Now let me go straight by writing my formula. I'll write my formula here, and then I'll also write another one here. So let's write this one first. So I'll go for V equal to VLOOKUP. I'll use the tab to insert. What is my lookup value? I want to look up for the product ID so that the product name will come. So this is my lookup value. Close my parenthesis. Okay. Now before we do that, I want to show you something. Let me just clean this. Let me show you something. Now for me to be coming back to be selecting my product or my table array, I want to give the table array a name so that I don't have to come back and be selecting the table array. If you have, let's say, chunks of data over thousands of rows, you cannot be selecting that. It will waste your time. So you can just do the selection once and then you'll be using it throughout your workbook. So what I'm going to do is I'll select everything from here down. Okay, I'll select this, then I'll come back to the name reference here, the name box, and then I'll type product. You can type any name you want, product. Don't click on anything, just hit enter. Now for you to know that whether it's working, you will select it back again to see if it's working. So I've selected it. Product is showing there, meaning it's working perfectly. If I should select something more, if I should select something more than that, it will not go. So let's say I've selected this. The product will not show there. So you see that it's not working. Now let me come back to my relationship table. I want the selling price to come up and I want the product name to come here. So I'll go for VLOOKUP. What is my lookup value? This is my lookup value. Comma. What is my table array? You realize that we give name to our table array, so you just go straight and type the name products. So you can see that this one, the second one right here, product, is there, and that is the name we have given to it. You can either click on it or you can type it through. So products, then bring comma. My column index. Now the name of the product is on what? Column 2. So we have first column, second column. Now you see that it is not starting from this side. It's even the column is R, but we are saying column 1, column 2. So the name of the column is what? Column 2. So we go there and type our column. This reference, I'll have to delete it. So we'll go for 2, comma. Do we want exact match? Yes, so we go for 0 and then close the parenthesis and hit enter. Now it will give you error because there is nothing selected here. So I will just autofill it. I will autofill it like this. Then we'll come back and fix it. Then we come to the selling price. Now the selling price is on column 1, 2, 3 and 4, the fourth column. So keep that in mind as we go. So equal to VLOOKUP. What is my lookup value? The product ID here, comma. What is my table array? Products, comma. What is my column index? 4. Do I want exact match? Yes, so I will go for 0. Close parenthesis and then hit enter. It will also give you error. Then let's autofill it and see what happens. Now I have the product ID here. I have the product ID. I can just go look at the product ID here. So let's say this one. Let me go for this simple product ID, FCCE. FCC and hit enter. Now the product name will come, selling price will come. But if the data is large and then I don't want to be typing in the product ID, I can actually make the product ID a list so that I'll select from it. So for you to do that, what you need to do is to just go to the data tab. Sorry, let me unselect it. Go to the data tab, then go to data validation, then click on data validation, then come here. You see what? Go for list, then the source of the list you want. I'll come to this table. Let me move this one right here. The source of the list is what? This is the source. This one, this column, the product ID. So I'll just highlight everything like this. Now and hit OK. So I have a drop down list here I can select from. So I can autofill that formula here, so that every cell here will be a drop down list. So right now I can just go ahead and select my list, my product IDs, and then my product names will be coming. I can select and they will come just like that. So basically this is kind of more dynamic as to using the VLOOKUP. So you see, you will not suffer while you are looking for your product ID. So you can actually use this in so many ways. So we have our total right here. Now if you want to add your formatting, let's say your currency and all that, you can just do that just by going to the home tab and then going to the number chunk and then going for accounting. So I'm going for accounting. I can autofill the currency over there. So I'll just left click and then come here and then fill formatting only. So when I do that, the format will only come, and I can actually do this to the same, this one, fill formatting only, and I can do that to this one too by left clicking and dragging to this place and then fill formatting only. So that is how we use our VLOOKUP formula. So we have actually learned how to write the VLOOKUP formula and how to fix errors in VLOOKUP, and then we try to create relationship between tables, and then much for watching. I know you've learned something new. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel and share this video to all your friends. More of this will be coming your way. Thank you very much. See you in our next video. Bye bye.